You guys, wait until y'all hear about this one. I cannot even wrap my mind around it. Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Hope the weather was nice where you are. I hope y'all got to get outside or got to relax or just had a really good weekend. So you guys, in today's video, listen, you have to stay to the end of this video because I'm going to start off with telling y'all a bit about what happened, the backstory, because it's going to be important. And then when you hear about the alleged stuff that happened, I just really believe so many of y'all are going to be like, you cannot wrap your mind around how this happened, what people were thinking, how it went on for so long. It's literally like a movie. Before we get into it though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things way more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up, and over there we talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for all the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies. That goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. Matter of fact, I just recently put a new video up under that $2 tier relating to the Diddy case. And you guys, it is so far out there, I couldn't even put it over here on YouTube. You have to check it out over on Patreon. Like, unbelievable. I also have a Facebook and Instagram and a Snapchat. And I also have a Like to Know It. And Like to Know It is the platform where you can find links to a lot of things that you guys ask about or that I like or that I use. Everything from clothing, skincare, workout gear, cooking utensils, all that stuff that I would want to link over on my Like to Know It, I do. And all of those platforms are linked down in the description box if you would like to come and check me out. So, okay. Have you ever wondered how easy it might be for a pharmacy to get in trouble? Well, in today's case, a pharmacy in Florida is in very, very big trouble. So let's talk about it. Side note, I just want to let y'all know, I don't know any of these people. Everything in this video is alleged. I'm not a professional. I pull all of my information from very public news sources that is already out there, as well as arrest reports and things that are made public. Please go do your own research and form your own opinions. Just don't show hate to anybody, anywhere. And everybody in this video is innocent until proven guilty. Now let's go in with a little background. So Pace Pharmacy is located in a really small town called Pace. Pace is in Florida, and Pace, Florida is a small unincorporated community in Santa Rosa County, Florida, which is actually in the panhandle of Florida, and it's about 25 minutes from downtown Pensacola. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this town, this little, small, tight-knit community. Just about everybody knows everybody. Just about everybody went to school with everybody or near school with other people. It's a great place to raise a family. It's one of those little towns that's close enough to the bigger parts like Panama City that you could drive to for the day, or the beach you could drive to very easily, but it's in the outer skirts where it's nice and quiet. Everybody's respectful and everybody works together. Just a really good little community. 54-year-old Steve Burklow and his wife, 58-year-old Monique Burklow, are the owners of Pace Pharmacy, a little family-owned pharmacy in this little, tiny, tight-knit town. Now, according to Florida Department of Health records, Steve had actually been a licensed pharmacist since back in 1993. According to his website, he says that he's been an independent pharmacy owner for 20 years, meaning he's privately owned his own pharmacies. He's not working for a CVS or a Walgreens or anything like that. Now, Steve previously owned and operated Burklow Pharmacy, which was also in Pace, Florida. Steve says that he specializes in compounding, which is actually the practice of mixing customer-specific medications right in-house, meaning that they are literally making the medications for customers instead of just filling the prescriptions with commercial-made medication. Monique, Steve's wife, has been a human resource manager in independent pharmacy for 20 years, according to the Pace Pharmacy website. So to say that this little community was absolutely shocked when they found out that their little family-owned Pace Pharmacy was raided and Steve and Monique had been arrested would definitely be an understatement. Before we get into their recent arrest, though, let's take it back and let's talk about the previous raids and investigations. Steve's pharmacy has allegedly been raided on at least 2 prior occasions, and he has allegedly been disciplined in the past for dispensing of legend medication in excessive or inappropriate quantities. He also allegedly has 2 prior disciplinary incidents on file with the Department of Health. Back in 1996, which of course is a really long time ago, Steve was issued a reprimand and a $500 fine for failure to verbally offer counseling to customers regarding their prescriptions. Now, this may not seem like much. You're like, oh, okay, he got a fine because he didn't go and speak to the customer about their medications. However, being available to patients when they have questions is actually a very important part of being a pharmacist. In 2001, Steve was fined $5,000 and he was placed on a 2-year probationary period in order to complete a 12-hour continuing education course on the law and rules governing the practice of pharmacy in Florida. According to the Department of Health, during the FDLE investigation of overprescribing, they determined that the prescription in question were filled at Burklow Pharmacy. This pharmacy that Steve used to own. Remember Burklow Pharmacy? His name is Steve Burklow. The complaint listed 13 different customers who received early fills and refills of meds, including hydro and Oxy and Ambien. In this incident, Steve was specifically cited for dispensing of legend medication in excessive or inappropriate quantities, which is not in the best interest of the patient and is not in the course of the professional practice of pharmacy. Also, failure to review the patient record and each new and refill prescription presented for dispensing in order to promote therapeutic appropriated by identifying overutilization, failure to take appropriate steps to avoid or resolve the potential problems, which shall, if necessary, include consultation with the prescriber. Then in 2013, Burklow Pharmacy was raided as a part of an investigation into allegations of improper billing. Now, according to the FDLE, in 2015, Steve defrauded TRICARE out of roughly, hold on to your shimmies, guys, $30 million over a 10-month period. Now, right then and there, we could stop the video and go, wait a minute. How did a pharmacist, if all of these things are true, again, innocent till proven guilty, how did he have all these dings? How did he defraud insurance company just in 10 months? What did he do with the rest of the months? Over $30 million. Why wasn't everything stopped right then? I don't know. Seems weird. 3 years later, in 2016, Burklow Pharmacy was raided again because they were the subject of a multi-agency investigation targeting what Steve described at the time as compounding. Steve claimed that he accepted third-party contracts to compound medication for a pharmacy in another town close by, Pensacola, and he believed that he was only caught in the crossfire of a state and federal investigation reviewing that pharmacy's practices. Now, that could definitely be true because, interestingly, no charges were ever announced against Steve in either of those prior investigations. But then, Steve apparently sold Burklow Pharmacy to a person named Stewart. According to Stewart, this guy meets Burklow, who owns Burklow Pharmacy. They've had these raids, they've had these issues, but Steve seems to have been able to explain it away. And I do want to say that I can definitely see how the big pharma companies don't like the little man making their own medications and not ordering from them. I could see how that could be a thing, okay? But Stewart comes in and now he buys Burklow Pharmacy based on financial records provided to him from Steve. So Steve says, here's my books. This is how much money my pharmacy is making. And Stewart says, great, I'll buy it from you. However, After just a few weeks, Stewart realized that the income that was showed in all these financials were not accurate. So Stewart got angry with Steve and told him to leave the property and never to come back. Stewart then ended up selling the pharmacy to CVS. Side note also, if you ever buy a business from somebody, please hire a professional or an attorney to go through the books. I actually know a woman who in her 60s took her whole 401k and bought a business from another woman who showed her the books and said, this is all the money that I'm making, all the money I've been making all these years. And she bought the business, and the woman had lied about the books, and there went all of her retirement and 401k. And in her 60s, she's still working. So please hire a professional to go through these books. Anyways, then this little family-owned pharmacy, Pace Pharmacy, was opened in June of 2017. At the time, Steve was only listed as the pharmacist in charge there. But as time went on, confidential informants were coming forward and reported Steve for regularly filling, refilling, and selling narcotics without a valid prescription in exchange for cash through the drive-through, y'all, or the back door of the pharmacy, which supposedly was fenced in to shield it from people seeing it as they pass by. Now imagine that. Imagine this little tiny pharmacy in this little tiny town, and you got people driving through, throwing money through the window and getting their compounded, that's been made in-house medications. What? One informant told investigators that during this time, Steve had delivery drivers who would deliver these medications for cash and then return the cash to Steve at the pharmacy after taking their cut, almost like runners. So allegedly, according to this informant, and maybe they're lying, we don't know, innocent until proven guilty. This is just a story that's in the public documents. He got runners coming up there, coming to the window, getting his stuff through the window, giving the cash, going and dropping them off like a pizza delivery driver, y'all, coming back and throwing the money back through the window. Then in January of 2022, the owners of Pace Pharmacy sold the pharmacy to Steve after supposedly noticing that the profits were not adding up. Something interesting, though, it's been reported that the owners actually had Steve sign an agreement that he would not violate DEA laws after learning that Steve had been under prior investigation. So when he came from Burklow Pharmacy that he sold to Stewart, that Stewart got in and found out that allegedly that he was lying about all the money that he was making at that pharmacy, and then he sold that to CVS, then allegedly Steve goes to Pace Pharmacy, becomes the pharmacist, and the owners is like, wait a minute, we ain't making no money here. You could just buy the whole pharmacy. That brings us to the recent raid. Steve, his wife Monique, and the Pace Pharmacy office manager, Dave Winkles, were all arrested on May 14th of this year, 2025, for allegedly running a pill mill operation after a raid was conducted at Pace Pharmacy. I had in my mind what a pill mill was, and it wasn't this, what we're going to talk about. This is mind-blowing. They were charged with conspiring to traffic prescription medications, including over 22 kilos of oxys, over 26 kilos of hydro, and 1 kilo of hydro. According to law enforcement, their arrests are a result of a multi-year, multi-agency investigation that started back in 2020 that was led by the FDLE, the Sheriff's Office, and the Florida Department of Health and the Florida Highway Patrol, the Florida Department of Financial Services, the DEA, the FDA, and Homeland Security. So according to these documents, all of these investigative businesses or branches were watching this little tiny pharmacy in this little tiny town all the way since 2020. I don't know how much of that I believe, but that's what's in these documents. The investigation allegedly began back in December of 2020 when the FDLE learned that a local OBGYN, her name was Elaine Sharp, was allegedly writing an excessive amount of controlled substances and prescriptions and recommending her patients, hey, go fill this down there at the Pace Pharmacy, y'all, an OBGYN, okay? Now, Dr. Elaine Sharp was eventually charged with 2 counts of murder, among many other overprescribing charges. Because, according to the FDLE, they say that they found approximately, y'all, 40 of Dr. Sharp's patients from 2017 to 2023 pass away due to ODs from medications prescribed by this OBGYN. 40. But they were only able to actually charge her with 2 of their deaths. Then investigators started getting all that information from informants that we talked about earlier in this video. On top of that, agents say that Steve, through the Pace Pharmacy, billed multiple insurance companies using multiple different doctors' ID numbers without their knowledge or consent to do so for prescriptions that may or may not have actually been provided to the patients. Pharmacy techs that worked at Pace Pharmacy were interviewed and said that 10 to 15 patients would come to the pharmacy daily within 15 minutes of closing time and would specifically request Steve, and they always paid in cash. So get this, so you've got the people that are working there at the pharmacy, and every night, allegedly, according to them, before the pharmacy closes, you got this rush of people, 10 or 15 people. It's like, nope, we only want to talk to Steve. Nope. Like, how was this actually happening? According to law enforcement, Steve dispensed a few hundred to thousands of pills per week for multiple different people. One patient allegedly paid Steve over $20,000 in 1 week in this little tiny pharmacy in this little tiny town. These pharmacy techs also said that Steve compounded, which made his own versions of Oxy that was up to 10 times stronger than the commercial version by using powder purchased from China. Who even knew this was a thing? So, oh my gosh, I mean, the opinions that are just coming through my mind, if it's true, all innocent until proven guilty. They also say that they believe that Steve owned his own pill press at home. Not just at the pharmacy, but he was pressing them at home too. Some of these pharmacy techs allegedly were not even up to date on their licenses and registrations, which should be monitored by management at the pharmacy. Investigators say that Steve is also believed to have laundered money through at least 7 different banks, which is why many of their assets, like their cars and their properties, are believed to be linked to these illegal activities. They're going to be confiscated. On top of the prescription charges I mentioned earlier, Steve has also been charged with conspiracy to commit racketeering, conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud, and 5 counts of identity theft. David was also charged with a racketeering charge, and Monique was also charged with the same racketeering charge, the same money laundering charge, and the same substances charges. On May 15th, Steve, Monique, and David were in court for a bond hearing.
There is a racketeering charge, money laundering, $20,000, less than $100,000, trafficking in opium, heroin, or illegal drugs, 4 grams to 30 kilograms, insurance fraud, less than $20,000, and using the ID of another without consent, $5,000 or more, and there's 5 counts. Do you understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, you are here on, looks like money laundering, $20,000, less than $100,000, racketeering, and possession with intent to sell, manufacture, or distribute. Do you understand the charges?
Okay.
David Winkles. Mr. Winkles, you're here on one count of and hydrocodone, one count of racketeering. Do you understand the charges?
Yeah.
Now, Monique was released from jail on a $600,000 bond. David was released from jail on a $150,000 bond. And from what I can tell, David is still in jail and can bond out, but that's for $1.3 million. And the judge did say that if they were able to pay the bond, it would have to be proven that the money did not come from any illegal activities. As part of all their bond conditions, they are not allowed to have contact with Pace Pharmacy or its employees, which is still supposedly open, by the way, and they are also supposed to turn over their passports. Their next court date is set for May 29th. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that are going to probably be wondering, why is the Pace Pharmacy still open? I can kind of, I guess, understand, long as the people that are still there were not doing anything illegal, because there's still people that need their medications. You've got, again, small town, that's their pharmacy, has all of their information there. People have medications that they have to take, or bad things can happen. And so I'm glad that they didn't just like completely shut the whole place down and leave people without a way to get their medications. But when I heard this, I could not believe it. Now, there is a twinkle in the back of my mind. I am going to throw this out there. This is a little C theory or whatever, that how could this continue to go on if all of these things are true? How did he not, how was this not stopped before? What's going on? Because it's unbelievable that he could be rated at this other place so many times, go and work at another place and do all of this stuff. And then you got Dr. Elaine Sharp that had 40 different patients as an OBGYN, OD, from medications that she had them fill at Pace Pharmacy. And then 2 people she was charged with. I mean, like, how? People driving through the drive-thru, giving cash, for their medications, and maybe they were just paying cash for medications. Maybe the books are going to prove that it was normal, and he's compounding medications, and some people are saying that he's compounding them at home. Like, what? How? Oh my gosh. Y'all, it's so hard to wrap your mind around when you hear this story. Like, this is a movie if this is all real. What do y'all think? Have y'all heard about this? I have a friend who is a pharmacy tech, and her mind is completely blown. She's like, the amount of legal regulations and stuff that is over pharmacies and pharmacy techs and medications, she also cannot imagine how this happened for so long, how this was able to go on. It just seems, whoa. I cannot wait to see what y'all's opinions are. Have y'all heard about this? Do you think it's real? Do you think they're being set up? I don't know. Y'all tell me down below what y'all think. Love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.